Hello friends, a very warm welcome to Ansarkari and again picking up very important themes and ideas which are very relevant for your general studies mains preparation and also certain aspects of optional series. So the first topic which says that Maoist chief killed. The question is not about killing the chief. The whole idea is that how India had gone for internal security doctrine, how India went on to use both developmental and soft and hard power, and they have achieved the goal more so within a democratic system. That is very important. Number of our great soldiers and officers have sacrificed their lives, and also local people, those who have not got any kind of incentives because of lack of developmental and political, achievements in these areas. So that is why it is a big deal for us, and government will fight. We are all fighting, and we must support such initiatives because without public service, no nation survives. Similarly, by understanding that virtually no disclosure at SAB helm, now that means this is not a day one point. This has been happening before and also, and that is why the SEBI chief is saying, as we can read very clearly, that there must be more accountability and there must be more transparency. And initially, Madhvi Puri Butch and her husband Dhaval Butch, they faced allegation that they held investments in offshore funds in which associates of Adani groups were also involved. But Butch had denied these allegations. So that is why he said the narrative about conflict of interest must be solved, and that is why SEBI is taking up more steps. So this we can see in terms of ethics, in terms of general studies paper 3 regulatory mechanisms, also in terms of governance. Moving further, Chhattisgarh DRG. Chhattisgarh DRG is the District Reserve Guard, which we speak about the grassroots guard, the soul of soul of policing. I would say not paramilitary, soul of policing, soul of protection, soul of villagers' well-being at the grassroots level. So they are the one who have suffered, and 1,003 miles killed in the last 11 years. You can see the maximum in 2024, and then you must go for all the important districts in the north to south direction and also check out their wildlife parks and national wildlife sanctuaries and national parks. I must say, I was mixing it up. That is very important. See the role of police officers and the local people in this regard. So this is again given here in detail, but as I just say, from the examination perspective, it is not about the attacks. You must use the attacks, whether it is Sukma, whether it is Gadchiroli, whether it is Sukma Bijapur, whether it is Dantewada. You must see them as a part of making general studies paper 3 internal security lectures when we what we have done, and also the kind of answers that we have been writing and we want you to write. You must bring these incidents in order to showcase that how we have been proactive and we want to eliminate them at all cost. Golden Dome futuristic US air defense system is like of Israel Air Dome, and Russia had already saying that this is a kind of an escalation, this is a kind of a provocation for Russia also. So Iron Dome will provide relatively smaller and protection against relatively smaller and slow targets, for example, in the changing warfare time period. And what we can say that intercontinental ballistic missile which China and both Russia are having, they in that context also it is saying ICBM can be launched from tens of thousands of kilometers away and travel to space as a part of their flight trajectory. Tracking ICBMs necessitate the use of satellites, and while they can be neutralized using ground-based interceptors, space-based weapons have long been thought to be more effective for this track, given that they re-enter atmosphere at hypersonic speed, and ICBMs can carry nuclear warheads. So it is more of a concept, but what I want you to learn and think about is that whether India should also have such kind of system, given the kind of challenging and negative trajectory that we have on the sides of our borders. So do think from that perspective and get back to me in the writing part. India set to sign interim US trade deal. So it is going on again. 90 days pause window ends, and then we are moving forward without compromising on our, on our ethics and our work standard. That is what you should only pick up. So tell me 4 points when we are saying that whether it is traffic concession for textiles, gems, jewelry, leather goods, garments, plastics, chemicals, shrimps, soil seeds, grapes, and bananas. But are we going for too much concession in labor intensive sectors? Are we providing too much leverage to the US? This is not the case. That is why India's negotiation team is taking care of our strategic interests, and also we want to move on. And secondly, the related point which you must know is that that Apple is investing more, and US saying that they are going to put 25% tariff on all the iPhones exported from India. So that is what we have to see. Donald Trump is only interested in extracting his pound of flesh. That is very true with regard and little regard for India's global commitment. But India has always been a votary for the global trade architecture. That means the whole world must work in a very systematic and in a very aligned way. That is what India has done with the WTO also, GATT also. Though India was not so powerful at that time, and whether it is Doha round, whether it is TRIPS, TRIMS, and others developed world, including European Union, they have always tried to push India backward. But India is the leader of the third world and leader of the developing countries. And what are we saying that we are going to work in the same direction? So that is why, in spite of its tantrums, India is more strategic. India has got new ideas. India is moving forward. Our work trajectory, our growth, our culture is not the way the Western world is. We believe in a sustainable way. So that is why global capability centers, on which we have also a short video on our channel, you must watch out. So we are working on that. So we believe in MFN based, you know, most favored nation based trade. Neither India nor global community seek to abandon the rule based WTO regime, which India is doing. So India will move on for that. Nagar Nigam School in Ghaziabad running without government recognition for 3 years is a highlight how it is very important to use digital governance. It is very important role for the district collector, district education officer, and also for the local community, society, and even the role of Right to Information Act. So this is what it is happening. So how you can think of a very job oriented and a very high profile and also very systematic job. This is very difficult. Are all snakes venomous? How do vaccines work? So this is what we have also discussed for the science and technology. In our previous year question discussions, which you will find on the channel, we have discussed that all snakes are not venomous. And then we have also been talking about that there must be antidote for snakes. India is a country where a lot of snakes are found in the natural environment, but all they are worshipped also. And and vaccine is actually mimicking the infection and telling the body how to function. That is what vaccine is doing, and it is working against the actual pathogen. So immune memory is the ability of our body to fight against the infections. So that is what it is being done. So snake, uh, when we say that there must be immediately the poison must be taken out. Go bitten by a snake went to a baba and lost time. So you try to kill a snake, it's a crime and not venomous. So these are the things which we face. So what we are saying is that more than 60,000 snakebite deaths are in the country. 80% of the global deaths taken place in India. Close to 9 in 10 of the deaths are caused by just 4 snake species and not all of them. So that is why it is very important to see that in the countries like India, we must, think about the solutions. Storm in NCR again, 4 dead and traffic and power disrupted, huge temperature drop after index source. So that is what I also happened. But my question to you is that it is because of western disturbances and it is also because of the convergence of the Arabian Sea and moisture-laden air waves, or you can say air from the Bay of Bengal, and they are all coming in together, and that is how it is happening. A cyclonic circulation in Haryana, it was the cause which was cited. Now again, take down posts against women journalists not permissible in a society. So this is not to be said by High Court. Our social moral should be such. But our morality is more times guided by our own virtual growth, our own selfish in aggrandizement, our own selfish growth. So in that context, High Court will have to come up. So this is an example where this is not the job of High Court to tell so. So Abhijit Iyer Mitra syndrome must be tackled, and the suit against Mitra was filed by 9 journalists of the News Laundry as well as organizations seeking 2 crore damages. So that is why what we can say is that uh, court must not be brought for such things. These things must be handled at the lower level. And Mitra is saying that I have full faith in High Court. They have asked me to take down my poetic tweets about News Laundry. I am complying with that order. So that is how society also changes and works. So it's very important rising Northeast, and we have also been speaking about developments in the Northeast. So decade of transformation when we say. So 5 things you must remember: 5,000 new kilometers of highways, 17 airports and 8 new airports, 20 waterways as national waterways, and increase of more than around 2,000 kilometer in tracks. And in mission mode ways, we can say PM Divine, Unnati, any SIDS, and around 1,500 PMKVY centers. So these all things must be written in the mains examination. That is very crucial, very important to be different. historic milestone Viksit Bharat के लिए 103 Amrit stations, so new and renewable energy power sectors. So the various projects of power, transport, highways, and in Rajasthan we are speaking about doubling of Churu Sadalpur line, flagging of express train between Bikaner and Mumbai, Deshonke railway station, and dedication to the nation electrified rail line from Suratgarh to Jaisalmer. These are all very, very important key points which showcase our growth, energy, and development. So Amrit stations are very, very important feature, and they are actually having, if we see the features of Amrit station, they are having the roof plaza, retiring room, spacious circulating area, and we have local architecture reflecting in the stations and integration of the multimodal connectivity and energy efficiency through green channeling. Turkish firm in High Court, cancellation of security nod to us, violation of procedure. So they will be fighting their case. But then BCAS, Bureau of Civil Aviation Security, had its own way. They must do it, but without any kind of prejudices. So we will see to what is happening over here. National NC statehood, National Conference statehood special status resolution comes under opposition fire. Why not in assembly? So this is a question again. This is again what you can say the part of electoral politics, and it is part of separatist politics in some ways. So, spontaneous and overwhelming support of the people of Jammu and Kashmir in unequivocally condemning the Pahalgam attack. The working committee also condemned the targeted harassment of Kashmiris living outside Jammu and Kashmir, and the idea of passing special status and demanding immediate return of statehood to J&K uh, must be done in assembly. That is why the opposition is asking for. So again, I'm saying this is a kind of a political things, and this is a kind of a surging and also giving a kind of a clue to the voters. International Booker for Kannada author Banu Mushtaq's Heartland. So this is very important for prelims. You must remember, and she is showcasing everyday stories and everyday true stories. So that is why she got the prize. Top court played a pivotal role in expanding scope of fundamental rights. Very, very important. Scope of fundamental rights have been raised down. So you must remember it is because of the basic structure doctrine. It is because of the active role played by the Supreme Court that scope of fundamental rights which are supreme in nature. Ancient Indian mariner, warrior queen, love story, INSV Kondinya. So ISNV Kondinya inducted in the Indian Navy at Naval Base in Karwar. So the story goes that 2000 years ago, a merchant vessel sailing to Mekong Delta on board was an Indian merchant Kondinya, and Condé fought pirates, and ship was damaged and had to be beached for repairs. That's when local clan led by warrior Queen Soma surrounded the crew. The Indian crew was outnumbered and faced certain defeat, and Condé bravely organized the defense. Soma fell in love with Condé, proposed marriage, and consequently the kingdom of Funan came into being. So very, very important for the ancient India prelims questions. And that is why Condé, the stitch ship named after the legendary Indian mariner, very important, and you can watch a short video also on this which we will be creating. He is the first Indian mariner whom we know by the name Kondinya. India lost 18,200 hectares of primary forest in 2024. This is about the Global Forest Watch. So Global Forest Watch, we have to see that what is the nature of the body, and this is equivalent to 15% of India's total tree cover lost during the same period. Very, very sad. So country lost 3,48,000 hectares, that is 5.4% of humid primary forest between 2000 to 2024. And between 2019 to 2024, we lack 1,03,000 hectares, that is 1.6% of the humid primary forest. The key word is a humid primary forest. This is very sad, but we should also look into that why it has been done. And as we are discussing that the forest land covers under scrutiny is top non-forestry uses, we have to see. So the top 10 states, Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, Telangana, these are the states which are actually non-forestry purposes. They are doing under the one Adhinium 1980. So the three bench headed by three benches headed by Honorable Chief Justice B.R. Gave directed the authority to take back the possession of such land from the private individuals and entities and hand them to the forest department. This is very, very important. So the bottom 10, you can see the top 10 we have shown. This is very, very important. And Sanrakshan Evam Samvardhan, जो वन अधिनियम 1980 है, that is what it has to be covered. So very, very important because Odisha diverted 14%, Gujarat, Telangana, they are also falling up to 7 and 6%, and top three states showing maximum increase is Mizoram, Gujarat, and Odisha. This is very important for the prelims. Do make a note, take your time, but do note it. A milestone, a launching pad, decade after marriage equality vote, Ireland continues to champion human rights. That is very important for Ireland. But the question arises, what kind of demography Ireland is having, what kind of society, what kind of knowledge economy, what kind of the economic scale, and what kind of cultural diversity. So same cannot be possible for India at one time. But I want to ask you that, do you really think that the championing human rights, if India is moving towards that direction? So you have to share your ideas on this, that how India is moving in that direction. LBGTQ campaigning के लिए इंडिया में क्या पॉजिटिव ओरिएंटेशन और पॉजिटिव आइडियाज हैं in that direction. You have to just compare, and that is what will be very much for I think for mains examination and also for your understanding in society paper. This moment feels like a thousand fireflies lighting up a single sky, brief, brilliant, and utterly collective. So this is for anyone who is working hard, dedicated to those who are working tirelessly, relentlessly. So that is very true. Thousand fireflies lighting up a sky, even when you crack exams, same you will be feeling. After Beijing meet, Pakistan says CPEC will be extended to Afghanistan. So Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi, Pakistan's Ishaq Dar, and Afghanistan Amir Khan Muttaqi, they are meeting in Beijing. So Pakistan and China, they are also agreeing to deepen their relations, and CPEC is extending to Afghanistan. So this is also a kind of a victory for China, but that means India will have to continue its efforts, and it is not a lone furrow. India will be supported by like-minded followers and also supporters, but then we are ready to move on. So that is why the trilateral meeting was held on the concluding day of the Pakistan Foreign Minister 3-day visit to Beijing, the first high-level interaction after India launched Operation Sindhu, targeting terror sites in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Turkish airline partnership fully compliant with government rules. That is very much perfect. But then government will be deciding on Turkish aircraft leases. So that is how we always say, do you really think that a country supporting a war, supporting an enemy country must be completely shun off? Are we at such a level? Are we, technically, socially, politically, economically at such level that we can take such steps head on? This is my question to you. Do write back your answer. The Veeraswamy case, when a sitting judge can face an FIR, this is very, very important because this is in case of Justice Yashwant Verma. So protection is there for judges in the Constitution, and disgruntled litigants, political actors, or the executives can file cases to harass or intimidate judges, as Justice Gavai said, and that true criticism must be there. So Veeraswamy case is there. Justice K. Veeraswamy was Chief Justice of Madras High Court from 69 to 76, a biography of his colleague, Justice S. Natarajan, noted that Justice Veeraswamy was a very competent judge who knew all branches of law, had turned down his elevation to the Supreme Court. So couple of months before his retirement, Justice Veeraswamy went on leave after allegations of corruption surfaced against him. It was alleged that the judge was in possession of a pecuniary resources and property disproportionate by rupees 6,41,416 to known sources of income. So Justice V. Ramaswamy, who would in 1983 became the first judge to face impeachment proceedings in Parliament, was son-in-law of Justice Veeraswamy. Justice Ramaswamy was elevated to the judge of Madras High Court 2 years after Justice Veeraswamy became Chief Justice. So FIR against Justice Veeraswamy raised larger constitutional questions whether such a step would be initiated against sitting judge. Justice Veeraswamy moved Madras High Court seeking questioning of FIR. 1979 full bench. High Court refused to question investigation. Supreme Court decide whether a judge of High Court or of a Supreme Court is a public servant for the purpose of Prevention of Corruption Act 1947. If so, is competent authority to grant, who is the competent authority to grant sanction to prosecute a public servant? The government argued that unlike the president and governor, there is no immunity for judges for the higher judiciary under the constitution. Supreme Court held that while a judge can be considered a public servant for a corruption case to be registered against him, the sanction must come from CGI. So ordinary sanction is granted by authority that has the power to appoint public servant, but Supreme Court emphasized that there is no master-servant relationship or employee-employee relationship between a judge and the President of India, whom the executive power of the Union is vested under Article 53 of the Constitution. The inclusion of the CGI, therefore, reinforced the prosecution of judges against the executive interference. 1991 Veeraswamy ruling came just 2 months after the impeachment motion against Justice V. Ramaswamy, and Justice Veeraswamy had retired by then and was not impacted by the ruling. But it is significant that Supreme Court did thereafter allow the CBI to register a case against sitting judge. However, this power has been used sparingly by the CGI. CJI Ranjan Gogoi gave permission to the CBI to register FIR against Justice Session Shukla of the Allahabad High Court for alleged favors to a private medical college for MBBS admission. Justice Gogoi's predecessor, Justice Deepak Misra, had recommended the impeachment of Justice Shukla, but the government did not act on it. So you have to understand that things are moving in, and society is the biggest judge, and the institutions must remain in such a manner that they must provide the relevant and also the dutiful guidance and work for the welfare of citizens. Hybrids cannot cannibalize EV sales power trains attracting different set of customers. So incentivizing hybrids contribute to the better development of the clean and mobility sector. This is very, very true. India's adoption is going on strongly. So strong hybrid passenger car is having a net positive effect on the electric vehicles. We need more infrastructure. Strong hybrid electric vehicles and the battery electric vehicles both will go parallelly. We want infrastructure. We want to make them, more affordable, and hybrids, CNGs, biofuels are practical medium to long-term solutions as the country moved eventually to electrification. So in that regard, what do you think? Government along with Mahindra and Mahindra, Hyundai and other companies must do? What kind of environment and ecosystem India must create? IndusInd Bank board fears fraud involving key staff. So RBI is coming into picture, slipping into red. Otherwise, it was one of the most famous banks. And senior officials overriding internal controls and concealing wrongful accounting practices from the board and statutory auditors. So CEO and CFO, they have exited. Uh, Maybe some wrong. It is alleged they must have done some wrongful practices. Sumant Katpalia and Deputy CEO Arun Khurana, who supervise the derivative trades, have resigned from the bank. बट वक्त आएगा, आपको हिसाब देना पड़ेगा. Very important, Kumki trained elephants from Karnataka ready to be handed over to the Andhra Pradesh government in Bengaluru. So Kumkis will be used to control herds of raw elephants in Andhra Pradesh, and that have been entering farmland, ransacking fields and attacking people. Karnataka government said there are more such trained elephant that can be used to mitigate elephant-human conflict. So very, very important and a key, development as far as natural methods are concerned. Roar of Asiatic lions, we want to say that there are 358 locations. That means 891 lions are located at 358 locations spread across 7 districts of Saurashtra Peninsula. Very important. So the population of endangered Asiatic lions have grown by 32%, and at the 16th lion population census, we can say. And most importantly, 55% was found in the forested areas, 27% in the wasteland, and 99% in agricultural areas, and also in riverine belts, built-up areas, and near human habitation. New satellite populations in Barda Wildlife Sanctuary, Jetpur and adjoining areas, Babra and Jasdan is also important. Amreli district hold the highest population of Asiatic lions, very important for the prelims. And for the first time, lion population in the corridor area has been recorded of 22 individuals. Lion population has increased by 70% in the past decade. This is very much important for India. India can promote a sustainable conservation, sustainable tourism, and other things which is unique in the world. You have also to see whether Asiatic lions are found in some other part of Asia or not. And we have to see from the prelims perspective couple of more facts like some basic behavior and their adaptations. Bharat Biotech's cholera vaccine, third stage is going to be over. This is very important. So why communicable diseases vaccine are still important, you have to see. Rewriting the skill blueprint for pharma, that is very important because we are a pioneer in pharma education. First pharmaceutical science department founded in 1932 in Asia. So biotechnology, data science, biologics, regulatory affairs, advanced manufacturing method, these are the keywords when you write answer in the mains examination. So we have to see that how biotechnology industry research assistance council, this is going to get success. AI, ML, digital automation, all these things need to be adopted, and we need to bring the best to the table, whether it is for future trials, whether it is for generic medicines and otherwise. Leela hotels, Leela Hotel, the fundamental belief in India and fundamental belief in India and the growth story we have. Leela is positioning for what is the growth story. So they are just talking about Anurag Bhatnagar, CEO Leela Palace and Resorts, and Ankur Gupta. They are talking about India's hospital sector, experiential holidays, increasing length of stays, and discovering destinations. Sorry, plumbers are all working from home. Their houses also got flooded. This is what has happened. What has happened in case of Bengaluru, you can say, or even in the case of when we talk about everything online. So, how do you think that this is a solution? So in India, Mumbai rains, or whether it is Bangalore rains, or whether it is Chennai rains, or either Delhi floods, it is applicable everywhere. Forget about the villages, forget about the northeast, forget about interiors of Bihar. Bring the solutions. Kerala's reckless construction mining should stop. Landslide is a common occurrence in Kerala now, so International Day for Biodiversity. Harmony with nature and sustainable development is the theme, very important for the prelims. So Kerala spread over 38,000 square kilometers, length of 560 and average width of 66 kilometers between Western Ghats and Arabian Sea. That is why land is less over there. So within this three divergent landscapes, uplands consisting of hilly forest areas of the Western Ghats, middle lands with up and downs, and the low-lying coastal plains with the number of estuaries, marshes, and backwaters. 44 rivers in the state originating from the Western Ghats. Western Ghats mountain chain is recognized as one of the world's best biodiversity hotspot. UNESCO World Heritage Site. Average annual rainfall 300 centimeter, higher than the national average. State's water resources is also good. Population doubled. Large migrant population. 48% is urban population. Density is more than 850 people per square kilometer, higher than the national average of 370. So Kerala, for facing a structural metamorphosis or transformation in terms of service-based economy, the boom in residential buildings and industrial and commercial establishment, states fragile ecosystem is being disturbed. Big houses beyond need, unproductive expenditure people are doing, ecosystem damage, constructing houses in paddy fields, but it never becomes a paddy field again. Paddy fields are wetland, which regulate flood and drought. Unscientific construction is happening. More display and show of power and money. Climate change is happening. So Madhav Gadgil Committee, Western Ghats stretch ecologically sensitive area, but nothing much had been done. So Adivasi huts are important and genuine, but what about the mega and reckless constructions? What about mining and quarrying? So high literacy, socio-political conscious people also are ignorant people. So what is the way out? I want to ask you. You must write a short note by writing the answers. And how can you say that such a literate society is a lawful society? Kerala must learn the lessons, otherwise it will pay the price. And rest of the India will also have to suffer indirectly. IMD issues depression alert over Arabian Sea with respect to buzz in the Bay of Bengal, heavy rains, and yeah, over Mumbai and Gujarat coast. This is happening because of the monsoons. That is what we have to just understand and carry on. Lower castor seed production may affect exports. Castor seed, India is the solvent extractors has said the reduction in the production of castor seed could impact India's export. So the most important thing you have to understand is that the ban on the export of de-oiled rice bran, the government imposed a ban on it due to high domestic prices, with the prices now below 9,000 ton and reduced demand due to increased using of DDGS, that is distiller dried grains with solubles. A surplus has emerged. So that is why SEA, that is Solvents Extractor Association, is saying please lift the ban so that de-oiled rice bran can be rice bran can be exported, and on the other hand, castor seed production cost can get down. But the most important point over is of the duty differential also, because the excessive import of the refined palmolene had led to the underutilization of domestic refining capacity. So they want to put more import duty on it. Spice scheme assistant to sustainable exports, very important for the mains. So spice sector through progressive, innovative, collaborative interventions for export development, spice scheme 2026. Assistance, financial assistance is there. Enhance productivity for small and large cardamom and also improving the quality in the post-harvest processes. Value addition, GI tag, organic species, and farmer producer organizations are also going to get help in this regard. Overfishing is a threat to not only ocean wealth and livelihood, but also different kind of systems. Whether it is Arabian Sea, whether it is Western Ghats coast, whether it is Eastern coast, everywhere. India is a multi-species, multi-gear fishes, bycatch management, especially intractable with single shrimp trawl. It is impacting the population of dozens of fishes and invertebrate species also. Chinese net, that is also very harmful. So ecological consequences, juvenile fishing, small mesh sizes are there, less than 25 mm, that allows sublegal fish to enter the nets. So it depletes the spawning stocks biomass and also driving long-term declines. You can check out the environmental series. We have discussed all these things in details, that how it is important that beyond certain point, there must not be any catch. So the uniform minimum legal size is only should be there. Fishing gear restrictions must be there. Closed seasons must be there. And the lessons must be learned from countries like New Zealand, where the fish quota management system is there. And India is having a large mechanized trawl fleet, uh, which is not a norm, but we must do it. It can curb the depletion of marine biodiversity by tying fishing allowances to actual fish health rather than vessel size or fuel use. So targeted size limits and minimum legal size regulations are very important. There are success stories. So Kerala enforced a minimum legal size for threadfin bream catches rose to 41% in single season. Similarly, the fish meal and fish oil industry is another urgent priority because they are also, following exploitative practices in the past, more profit they want, and which must be done in a positive way. So the real meal, the real oil must be done only through the legal catching. Otherwise, there will be a huge problem. There must be a quota. There must be local agriculture coming into picture. There must be role of the local marine fisheries and marine departments. They have to bolster enforcement, well-equipped patrols, real-time reporting tools. Fish cooperatives and village council must be empowered. So they are. This is a beautiful article which is speaking about all the answers of the main examination, and you must get all the answers. So climate-driven storms, coastal erosion, and market volatility is already threatening 8,000 kilometers of India's coastline and more than 3,000 plus villages, which will be finished if they are not going to follow. We have to understand on the day of biological diversity. Poverty levels in India are obviously very low. They are going down, but the approach has been seen. Three methodologies are there. First is of the NSSO 71st round, which covered the January to June 14 period, and it called the usual monthly per capita consumption expenditure. This is very important. All subsequent rounds had also been used. Second approach has been used by economist Surjit Bhalla. That use actually private final consumption expenditure. You can see all these terms in our economic series. So there are different surveys, different trends across states. Poverty have been reduced. For example, Jharkhand and Bihar, progress is slower. Full resolution and full ideas are reflected in that. So India's growth of India's domestic GDP, which averaged 6.9% per annum, slowed to 5.7% between 2011 and 2012 to 2023. Similarly, pointed out that the wage rates in the rural India data complied by the Labour Bureau on real wages, it is pointing to the slowdown in the wage rates. Thirdly, authors point out that absolute number of workers in agriculture declined by 33 million by 2011-2012. So that's what we can say. There are a lot of ideas in this. We have to work accordingly. Warming likely to make cyclones more destructive than ever before. This is very true. Climate models indicate that tropical cyclone belts could begin shifting poleward, exposing ecosystems in the higher altitudes to threats to which they have not been adapted. This is very crucial, very important. They also suggest that 97% of mangrove in Southeast Asia could be highly threatened. So very important because the climate models are saying so. The tropical cyclone belt could begin shifting poleward. So pole world means higher altitudes and whole India, and you can say the problems will be there. For example, waves driven by cyclone fungal strike uh, the coast of Kasimudu fishing harbor in Chennai. So this is very important. So new problems are rising up. We need solutions, and solution lies in the above mentioned idea that we discussed on climate act. Climate adaptation is the key, and sustainable use is the key, and the traditional resilient methods are the key. That is what we have discussed. So this is all for the day, and we have discussed all important elements and areas. You must finish writing the short notes, questions and ideas so that we can discuss in our personal interactions, and you must continue making your notes if you really want to get success, which is paramount importance not only for you but also for any sincere candidate who wants to get success. Thank you very much.